Imagine for a moment that everything is gone. Your phone, your photos, your journals, every conversation you ever had, every place you ever visited, every person you ever loved. All of it erased in an instant. But there is one moment of mercy. You are allowed to keep just one memory. A single moment from your entire life. One feeling, one image, one emotional truth that you can carry forward into the unknown. Now, the question is not simple. It is not casual. It reaches deep into the part of you that you do not often examine. What would you keep? In front of you right now are 4 choices. First love, childhood, your biggest victory, or one secret. Do not rush. Do not ask yourself what sounds better or what seems more mature. Do not choose what you think you should choose. Instead, feel for a moment. Let one of these 4 options pull at something inside your chest, because one of them will, and that pull is not random. Carl Jung believed that the choices we make in moments like these come from a place much deeper than our thinking mind. He called it the unconscious, the part of us that remembers everything. The part that knows what we truly value, even when we try to convince ourselves otherwise. Your answer to this question is a window directly into your inner world. It tells you what kind of person you are at your core, what you are holding on to, what you are afraid to lose, and perhaps what your heart has been trying to tell you for a very long time. So hold your choice in your mind, and let us begin. If you would keep the memory of your first love, you chose first love. And that choice is something beautiful and honest about who you are. First love is never just about a person. It is about a feeling, that breathless, terrifying, completely alive sensation of opening your heart for the first time, when the world felt brighter, when music sounded different, when small things like a text message or a glance across a room could change the entire color of your day. You are someone who was deeply moved by that experience. And more importantly, you are someone who still honors it. People who choose this memory are not naive. They are not people who live in the past. They are people who understand the value of feeling. In a world where many people grow hard and guarded over time, you have kept something soft in you, something open, something real. Jung talked about a concept he called the anima and animus, the inner image of love that lives inside every one of us. Your first love was probably the first time that inner image came to life in the real world. It was the first time you saw your own capacity for deep feeling reflected in another person. That is why it stays so strong. That is why it still matters. But here is the deeper truth. What you are really holding on to when you choose this memory is not the person. It is the version of yourself that existed in that moment. The version of you that was not yet afraid. The version that loved without calculating, gave without protecting, felt without apologizing. You miss that openness. You miss that courage. Because love in that first form required something extraordinary. It required you to be completely unguarded. And at some point after that, life may have taught you to guard yourself more. People may have let you down. You may have been hurt in ways that made softness feel dangerous. But you chose this memory, which means some part of you refuses to forget that feeling. Some part of you still believes in it. That is not weakness. That is your greatest strength. Your challenge is this. You do not need to find that same person or that same moment again. What you need is to find that same version of yourself. The one who was brave enough to feel. The one who chose love over safety. Because the world does not need more people who protect themselves perfectly. It needs more people who love honestly. If you chose first love, your heart is your compass, and it has always known the way. If you would keep the memory of childhood, you chose childhood. And this choice carries a weight that is both light and heavy at the same time. Childhood is the first chapter of every story. It is a time before we knew about deadlines, disappointments, and the exhausting work of trying to be good enough. It is a time when the world was large and magical, when afternoons felt endless, when the simplest things brought genuine joy. Running barefoot, the smell of rain, a parent's voice, a favorite toy, a summer that seemed like it would never end. People who choose this memory are carrying something quietly important. They are people who understand, perhaps more than others, how precious it is to simply exist without pressure, without performance, without the weight of who you are supposed to be. Jung spoke often about what he called the inner child, He believed that inside every adult lives a child they once were. And that child still needs something, still needs to play, to feel safe, to be seen without judgment. When we ignore that inner child for too long, we become tired in ways we cannot explain. We become efficient, but empty. We succeed, but do not feel successful. Choosing childhood as your one memory tells a story. It may mean that somewhere along the way, you were forced to grow up too fast, that the world asked too much of you too soon, that responsibilities came before you were ready, and some quiet part of you has never fully let go of what was left behind. Or it may mean something different. It may mean that your childhood was truly beautiful, that you were lucky enough to feel loved, safe, and free during those years. And now, as life grows more complicated, you hold on to that time as proof that goodness is real, that life can be simple and enough. Either way, this choice reveals something tender at your center. You are a person who values innocence, not ignorance, but innocence, the ability to see the world without cynicism, to find wonder in ordinary things, to feel joy that does not need a reason. The challenge for people who carry this memory is learning to bring the spirit of childhood into the adult world, not to escape into the past, but to let the past teach you something for today. Children do not worry about what others think. Children do not delay their happiness until everything is perfect. Children play even when they are tired. You are allowed to do the same. The memory of childhood is not a sign that you are stuck. It is a sign that you remember what life is supposed to feel like. And remembering is a first step toward returning. If you would keep the memory of your biggest victory, you chose your biggest victory. And this is a choice that reveals something very specific about where you are in your life right now. Victory means something different to every person. For one person, it is a career achievement. For another, it is surviving something painful. For another, it is finally doing the thing everyone said was impossible. The size of the victory does not matter. What matters is what it felt like in that moment when you realized you had done it. You earned something. You proved something, not to others, but to yourself. People who choose this memory are deeply motivated by growth, by becoming, by the satisfaction of looking back at where you started and seeing how far you have come. This is not vanity. This is a fundamental human need. The need to feel that your effort means something, that your struggle was worth it. Jung wrote about what he called the hero archetype, the part of every person that wants to face a challenge, overcome it, and return transformed. This is one of the oldest stories in human history. Every culture tells it, because every person feels it. When you chose your biggest victory, you chose a moment when you were the hero of your own story. But here is something worth sitting with. Why does that memory matter so much that you would carry it alone into the dark? For some people, it is because that victory was hard come by. Life had been difficult for a long time, and that achievement was proof that the difficulty was not permanent, that they were capable of more than their circumstances suggested. For others, it is because that victory was the last time they felt truly proud of themselves. And somewhere inside, they are still searching for the next one, still trying to recreate that feeling of being enough. If that is true for you, this is important to hear. Your worth does not live inside your achievements. It existed before you ever won anything, and it will exist long after any trophy or success has faded. The memory of your biggest victory is not just about what you did. It is about who you discovered yourself to be in that moment. Someone capable, someone resilient, someone who does not quit. You do not need to win again to be that person. You already are that person. The victory was just the moment you finally saw it clearly. Carry this memory not as a destination you need to return to, but as evidence of what has always been inside you. If you would keep one secret, you chose a secret. And of all four choices, this one is perhaps the most honest and the most brave. A secret is something you have never fully shared, something you carry alone. It might be something you did, something that happened to you, a feeling you have never said out loud, a truth about yourself that the world does not know. Choosing to keep a secret as your one remaining memory tells a remarkable story about you. It means that whatever the secret is, it has weight, it has meaning. It shaped you in ways that nothing else did. Even if no one else knows it, even if it is something you have never spoken aloud, this experience or truth or feeling has been one of the most defining forces in your life. Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we do not show, the parts we hide, not always because they are shameful, but because they feel too personal, too raw, too true to be placed in someone else's hands. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is actually the part of you that is most authentically yours. Because the things we share openly are often shaped by what others expect. But the things we keep private, those belong entirely to us. People who choose a secret are often people of great depth. They are people who have lived more than they have shown, who feel more than they express, who carry stories that would change the way others see them if they were ever told. There's a loneliness in this, and it is important to be honest about that. Keeping a secret for a long time creates a kind of distance, not just between you and other people, but between you and yourself. When part of your story cannot be spoken, part of you cannot be fully known, even to yourself. But here is what your choice also reveals. You are someone who understands the power of the private. You are someone who knows that not everything needs to be visible to be real. Some of the most important things in life happen in silence, in the interior, in the space that no one else can touch. Your secret is not a burden you fail to put down. It is a part of your story that you have been protecting. And perhaps it has been protecting you too. The question to ask yourself is this: is the secret still serving you? Or has the time come to gently, carefully bring it into the light? Not necessarily to share it with everyone, but perhaps to look at it yourself with honesty and compassion. To stop carrying it with tension and start carrying it with understanding. Because secrets held in shame grow heavier over time. But secrets understood become wisdom. If you chose a secret, you are a person of tremendous depth. You know things about life that most people never encounter. And when you are ready, that knowing will be one of the most powerful things you can offer the world. The final truth. Now step back for a moment, for memories, for choices, and each one a mirror. First love reflects a person who values feeling over safety. Someone whose heart has always been the truest compass they own. Childhood reflects a person who understands the value of simplicity, freedom, and the quiet joy of simply existing without needing to prove anything. Biggest victory reflects a person who is deeply motivated by growth, who needs to know that struggle leads somewhere, that effort is not wasted. And the secret reflects a person who lives in depth, who carries more than they show, and whose richest experiences have often been the most private ones. But here is what is most important. This was never really a question about memory. It was a question about what you are afraid to lose. And what we fear losing tells us everything about what we truly value. You are not just a collection of what happened to you. You are the meaning you gave to those moments. You are the feelings you chose to carry forward. You are the stories you keep close and the ones you finally let go. Carl Jung believed that the goal of psychological growth was not to become perfect. It was to become whole. To stop cutting off parts of our experience and start integrating them. All of them. The love and the loss. The victory and the failure. The public self and the secret one. The child and the adult. Your one memory was not a final answer. It was a starting point. An invitation to look at your own inner world with curiosity instead of judgment. To ask yourself what you have been holding tightly and whether it's time to hold it more gently. To recognize that every chapter of your life, even the quiet ones, even the painful ones, even the ones no one knows about, has been shaping you into the person you are today. And that person is worth knowing. So let this question stay with you. Not as something to solve, but as something to sit with, a quiet light shining on a corner of yourself you may not visit very often. Which memory did you choose? Tell me in the comments below, and tell me why, because your answer is not just interesting, it is meaningful. It is a piece of the story that only you can tell. And if this video made you feel something real, if it made you think or remember or recognize something in yourself, share it with someone who might need to hear today. Because the most powerful thing a human being can do is help someone else feel a little less alone in their own inner world. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing. And remember, you are more than your memories. But your memories are a very good place to start.